to start off by, talking about how we create content and share some data from our research. Everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So I believe Dennis sent a link out way back when we first started talking about this, and it included a link to a survey and a quiz. If you have those handy, it'd be great to do them for yourself. I don't need them for today, but you know, it's something to play with. So, and it'll show you what in the quiz, it'll show you what you got right and what you got wrong, or, you know, to reorient. And there are a couple of good questions about the big picture priority for Google's algorithm today, which is a bit different than it seems most people have in their mind. So I'd recommend you pull that up, and I'll make sure Rosemary and Dennis have it to send out after the meeting also. Okay, great. So how do you guys, how do you do SEO and content marketing now? Anybody care to share? Want to dive in, and we'll chew on your process a little bit?
So we use a combination of keyword research and kind of topic clusters.
Okay.
And then pick out content that either meets kind of a keyword focus or what we infer as an audience interest.
Mm-hmm. And where are you getting your data, Tom?
Usually SEMrush or Alexa Internet.
Okay, great. Are you using the keyword magic tool in SEMrush?
Yes.
Great.
I use the keyword research tool. I don't know if I'm using the keyword magic tool.
Okay, we'll take a look at the screenshot so you can see if they're if they jog your memory, or you can make a note to check with the team if you're not point on that. Jeff, what about you?
My CMO does most of it.
Okay.
He is using, I'm not sure exactly what tool, but essentially the topic and sentiment and how do you use SEO and content marketing. We also use a lot of intent data to look at, you know, what are people searching for, and then trying to figure out how do you match our content with that intent as well.
Great. Do you know where you get your data for when you're looking at intent or sentiment or
intent? We have a whole bunch of intent data vendors, Bombora, 6 Sense, Demandbase, and we partner with a lot of the intent vendors, so we get a whole bunch of intent signals, and we're using that.
Great. Okay. Hi, Lenore. Hi, Margaret. Frank? Do you know where your team, what their process looks like and how they're producing content? How they're planning for content or optimizing it? I know your main concern when you joined, you shared, was that there's a big library, but your sales team isn't necessarily going through that or learning, and nobody's bridging the gap between marketing and sales to make sure that they're using the most current data and that they have what they need and know it's there.
So in terms of the company has this platform with all sorts of social marketing widgets. So a lot of it's built in-house with our own AI, but I know we also outsource a lot of the stuff, especially a lot of the traditional media content that gets rolled into the engine. But so I'm not really familiar with the process, but it's just that we have to do with all the stuff. Yeah,
I got it. There's a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Lenore, Margaret, do you guys want to share about how you create content or how you're planning for content and any pain points around that, or what's working?
So I work right now for a women's investment fund that has a very, very targeted audience. So we're using a lot of the events that we're scheduling and making the most use of LinkedIn and Twitter, actually. So I'm very curious as to how to expand that. But like I said, our target market is super, super focused.
Okay. And how, Margaret, are you finding the topics that you're going to write about? And then how are you creating the content? I get that you're using LinkedIn and different social platforms to distribute it and to get it discovered.
Right. A lot of events that we ourselves are scheduling, and those are getting promoted, and funds that we have that are opening, closing, whatever, and different seminars that we're promoting and webinars.
Okay.
So it's either stuff that we're already involved with or statistics that we have about our particular funds and that consumer market.
Okay. Got it. Great. How about you, Lenore?
Oh, I was going to say thank you, Leslie, for including me. I'm really here more to learn. So I'll just go ahead and pass on this one. Thanks.
Okay, great. What's your role, Lenore, in the company?
So I am a freelancer and trying to
Okay.
learn more about this.
Got
Thanks.
it. Okay. No, you're welcome. Happy to. And Margaret, I apologize. I didn't ask you your role. Would you mind? Just so I know your context.
Trade and right now doing social media marketing and writing.
Okay. Got it. Perfect. Okay. I got it. And if we see more people hop in, Rosemary, let's just try to get their background so that I make sure I'm speaking to the right groups here. Okay, great. So when we talked with, in our survey, we've got about 550 respondents. Now we've been doing this survey for 2 years, and we're speaking specifically to content marketers and B2B and B2C. And we asked them how they do content marketing. What are their main issues? See if you see yourselves in this data. The number one problem was resource constraints. Not enough bandwidth, not enough time, not enough talent, whatever it was. Then the second and the third problems were related, either not being able to measure the content efficiency or being sure what works and what doesn't. So we put those two together. These are pretty related. And then that fourth, which becomes our third problem, is now the content that takes too long to show results. Does this resonate with anyone? Nobody has resource constraint. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it, Tom.
Especially
Great.
the measurement is
Yep.
kind of what do you measure and then how to show success,
Yeah. So I've got a 2-pager. This ebook is available on the website, and I'll make sure we've got the link to send out to everybody after. But this is a really great resource, if I do say so myself, for all the different things that we've talked about so far. So I'd encourage everybody to download it after. This is what you'll see when you get the book as a PDF. And this is the data point that we just looked at. Now we've got COVID-19 on top of everything. We're even more tight, right? Everybody's playing catch up with shifting priorities, plans, budgets, and we're all working on our toes or our heels if we're still trying to get forward to our toes because we got knocked back, right? So we've been talking to a ton of marketers. We talked to B2C and just a ton of B2B marketers. So it sounds like you guys are mostly B2B. So this will be relevant for either. And the first secret that we see are the quick fixes on landing pages. When we talk to these to top content marketers and say, how do you deal with these 3 problems? These are what they've told us. So what we've done is we've expanded on the 3, and I've got some resources, and we'll dig into these as it makes sense. And you'll have the list as a follow-up. So the first is, look at those landing pages where you've got great performance already. So top 5, either the top 5 that bring in the best organic traffic, that perform the best in social media. So for instance, Margaret, you might look at what's been working, and you probably are looking at what's been working well in social media and use that to steer events and seminars, right? And using the stats is brilliant on what you've already produced. What are the top 5 pages that are attracting backlinks now? Because clearly those are important. And then the top 5 converting pages and the top 5 pages with the highest click-through rates. Is anybody hopefully spending time in analytics? I know Frank is on the sales team, so he may not have access to analytics, but the rest of you sound like you might be in the space to have access.
Yeah, yep. we spend a ton of time in analytics for clients.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great. Is anybody not ever been in Google Analytics besides maybe Frank? Just want to make sure I'm gauging our levels here. Hi, Scott. Hi, Justine.
Hello.
Okay, great. So if we're talking about anything that is, you need, we can dial up and down at will. All right, so just let me know, guys. So we've got actual steps in this ebook on how to do these things. So if you're uncertain about how to find the top 5 of one of these, we actually have, Google Analytics, go here, go here, go here. All right, and then the second secret is optimizing existing content. So we would look at the data, for instance, in a SEMrush, and we would find the high volume key terms that we rank for, but not quite well enough. So these are the keywords within striking distance. Maybe you're at the bottom of page 1 in Google, or at the top or mid or bottom of page 2 or 3. So presumably with some effort, we could push those up more easily than we could something that's ranking lower than that, right? Or higher than that, yeah. Page 4 and beyond. So finding those pages that are close to, but not quite getting visibility would be another way to prioritize. And that's why I was asking Frank earlier before the call, before we started recording, because for you, it's important to have discoverability of these documents and then to enroll people in using them. It could be really interesting to get some data from the guys and gals who have access to analytics to see, since this documentation is available on the website to the world, to see what kind of traffic it's been getting, which are the most downloaded, which have the longest session times. And then you could share that information with your sales team and say, wow, look, the world is using this stuff. Do you know about it? So social proof, you could use it to enroll the sales team into looking at the content and using it. Make sense, Frank?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Margaret, that could be really useful for you too, looking at analytics in addition to your social data, and it sounds like you already are. And Lenore, Justine and Scott, would you have a quick minute to share your top problems or what it is that you want from today?
I was just here to learn.
Okay, great.
So I'm basically trying to figure out how to take existing content and extend it to other channels. So, but this is very helpful. So.
Okay, great. How about you, Justine?
I don't really have specific problems today. Yeah.
What? No specific problems. I want to be you.
So yeah, I'll bring it down if I hear anything interesting and would like
Great.
to know more. Okay.
And what's your role in the organization, Justine?
I'm not working right now. Yeah, but
Okay, got it.
yeah, I was
Are
a
you a
marketer.
writer, an analyst? Okay,
Yes.
marketer. Got it.
Thanks. Yeah, because I just came to the States 10 months ago.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome. Okay, got it. Thanks. So in this area is really ripe. You can look for what's almost working to get you visibility and then put some time and attention into that. The third secret that we hear often is to find ideas and strategies that you've mined from your top competitors. So knowing what's working right now in your market is ideal. We can run hard and fast and try lots of things and hope that it works, or we can know what works. Rosemary and I were talking before we started recording about some of the things that we see that are winning. Sometimes it's really quite impressive and other times you're shaking your head. Markets are all different. So look at the key phrases once you have your data and go see who's winning, who's ranking at the top of Google for those, and what are they doing? What are they doing? What kinds of content are they producing? How many words is it? Where are they getting their backlinks? How many backlinks do they have? You can create a nice snapshot of some really rich data that then they give you your playbook, right? They give you very clear targets. So that's something, Jeff, that could be helpful for you, or Tom, if you may not actually be doing the work yourself and teammates are bringing you information or data or drafts, you can say, okay, great. Who is winning for this key term right now? And what is it that they're doing? And how does our stuff stack up to it? Where's the gap? Because they can manage your expectations really well with that information. Yeah.
Leslie, what's other than Ahrefs, is there another, is SEMrush or some other tool have a good backlinks? Like what do you recommend for backlink analysis?
We use SEMrush, is one of our favorites. Yeah, Moz. I think, yeah, Moz has domain authority metrics also. Yeah,
And
SEMrush,
also,
Moz, and Ahrefs. Yep. Go ahead.
Ahrefs, yeah, we use that a lot for that.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody's got their favorites, but they're all pretty good. Great. Okay, so I want to show you a couple screenshots now of key phrase research tools to make sure that you guys are familiar and your team is using these. If not, you can just make a couple of notes and you can ask folks and they say yes, no, or what is it again? You'll know where you are. So the simplest way to start is your Google Keyword Planner. Oh, and I'm resuming share. There we go. Okay, so this is just your Google Ads account. You go into Access, you go to Tools, which is in the top right of Google Ads, and your Keyword Planner is in the top left in the mega menu. Is everybody using their Google Ads data in the process? Yep, anybody not? Crickets.
Not as much as not as much as we probably should.
Yeah, well, it's a really nice checklist you can get together. Hi, Scott. And there are lots of places where you can grab data. I mean, if the Google Keyword Planner is helpful, and of course your whatever keywords are converting right now for you in Google Ads would be important. Then the SEMrush keyword tool, we mentioned the magic tool. What I love about this one is we can do a search. For instance, here we've got CDC blood test, and we can see all the keywords. We can sort by volume. We can look at keyword difficulty, cost per click, how many pages are returning in the result set, and we can dig into the related button. So now we can choose subtopic clusters. And I've heard several of you say, as we were talking about what you were looking to learn, that you're already thinking in terms of topics and clusters, and that's really great. This is a way to get down in the dirt. Actually have data points for this so that you know you're in the right space or hanging out in a place where you can win. So we might have a keyword that the volume is nice for, but it's crazy competitive. And that might be a mid-tier goal, but we want some low-hanging fruit. We want some wins now to fuel our marketing efforts, to fund our marketing efforts, so we can be strategic about the topics and subtopics we're pursuing now. And Frank, this could be another place where if you could get some access to data like this, you would be able to use social proof, if you will, say, hey, I happen to notice that there's a huge volume of searches on these topics. Did you know these are the top 5 articles in the library? Why don't you make a note for yourself for your next cup of coffee break? Go check them out.
Yep.
Okay, so we can choose, oh, sorry, go ahead. Oh, okay. Then there's a questions tool in SEMrush. Hopefully we all know that frequently asked questions are gold, not only for content marketing and search engine optimization, but for conversion rate optimization, right? We don't have enough 3-letter acronyms, so there's another one for you, CRO. Right, so the questions tool, you can plug in a keyword. For instance, here's Woolies. This is a retailer that is more popular in the Southern Hemisphere than the Northern. And we're looking up all the questions about that particular keyword or topic or subtopic. And then we get our list of questions, we answer them. Another great source of questions are your customer service teams or your sales teams. What are the questions prospects and customers are asking all the time? Get those on your pages. Right? And not just a frequently asked questions page, but hopefully everybody's putting frequently asked questions anywhere it makes sense. We want to think about a web page and think about what does a prospect need on this page to convert, like the whole thing. Any question I might have that would keep me from converting whatever the micro conversions are or the macro conversion for that page, answer every question. And you can use the accordion tool or some other function so that it doesn't result in too long of a screen. Another great place to look is Google's People Also Ask tool, right in the SERPs, right in the search engine results page. Make sure you check that out. And really this can seem like an overwhelming list, but if we think about taking an extra 10 to 15 minutes, it is the cheapest insurance policy you can have to make sure that the time you do have is spent as effectively and efficiently as possible. Does that make sense? And then at the bottom of the search engine results page, you'll see Google's searches related to. And there, clearly Google's telling us what topics and subtopics there are for that key phrase that we used. Perfect, right? And then the suggestion tool, actually, when you type in the search at Google, you can see ideas. Does anyone know where Chuck Norris is today? No. So how are we doing, guys? Any questions, comments, anything in particular that you'd like us to switch gears to? Okay, then let's talk a little competitive research. Okay, when you're trying to decide what content to write or what topics or subtopics or topic clusters to write about, or you are deciding how to use the time that you have, we need to, yeah, looking at what's actually winning right now makes the most sense. It's a terrible quote. The White Rabbit says, if you want to, we must run as fast as we can just to stay in place. And if you wish to go anywhere, you must run twice as fast as that. Oh, I'm so mean. I apologize. But this helps us make sure that we're running with a purpose. So compare yourself against your competition, right? So this is data from SEMrush. And you want to pick one or two of your competitors and follow what they're doing. Ideally, you've always got, I would say, 3 comps at least that you're watching. So the first 2 above you, the ones you can actually catch in the next 3, 6, 9, or 12 months. And then an aspirational, who's the 500-pound gorilla or the 250-pound gorilla in your space. Know where they are and keep the data in a table, update it as you update your reporting, ask your vendors to help you or you know, marketing team, and see where they are compared to you. Super helpful. And social media, we can do the same thing. Here's a really great tip. If I'm gonna guess most of you don't know this one because I find most people don't. So if you go into the site tool, site :syntax, if you're familiar with this, just advanced syntax in Google, and you type a domain, you can then go in tools or settings, advanced search, if you haven't ever used it before, and you'll see the past year here. This shows you, put in a competitor's domain, it shows you how many pages of content they lived in the last 12 months. If you start tracking that now, you'll be able to go back to your team or go up the food chain if you're not the founder or the CEO of the company and say, hey, here's what we're dealing with. And you can actually, you can reverse engineer, here's about how much it costs us to create a page of content. So if we're gonna catch them, this is what it's gonna cost. And here's the potential return on investment for that, and pull in traffic and the volume, search volume for those key terms. All right. So really put together a nice table, and that will serve you well, and keep updating it over time. All right, so let's go back to some of the details about how you do this. And I understand we are on for 30 minutes, so if anyone needs to drop, I certainly understand. Hi, Alade, am I saying your name correctly?
Yes, you are.
Hi, Alade. And what are you here for today?
I'm actually here to actually get a better understanding of marketing. I actually am a publisher for a bi-weekly newspaper, and I want to see how I can incorporate some new ideas into it.
Great. Okay. Well, when you get the replay, if you didn't see the keyword research tools, make sure you go back and watch those. Okay.
Absolutely, and thank you very much for putting this on.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, thanks, Dennis and Rosemary. They're the hosts. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
And you're welcome. I'll take all the credit from them for setting it up, though. Okay. So when you download the ebook, and I'll make sure that we have the link, and Rosemary and Dennis will get you that after. We have links here, they're bookmarks really, that show you how to accomplish all of these things, the step-by-step how to do them, how to find the top 5 pages that bring organic traffic to your site. And Alade, I'm going to assume that your newsletter is online, so they're archived and the past issues are searchable and crawlable.
Yes, they are. I'm
Great.
actually the new publisher for the organization, but
Okay.
the past are archived.
Great. So you can check analytics data and see what top 5 pages brought the most organic traffic to your site, for instance. And then that would tell you what to publish more of. Right? Your top 5 best converting pages, for sure. So how to make it work for you. Let's talk a little bit about, well, actually, I'm going to leave you guys to look at those after. These are case studies that we used. I've presented the retail and e-commerce forum at Content Marketing World for the last 4 years. And we do some HARO requests, help a reporter out, and solicit case studies along with some from our own efforts. And these are some really cool examples of content marketing that you can chew on with your team and see what might be a match for you. And you know they're already working for someone, right? So let's take a look at these steps for how to actually do some of this analytics work. Would that be helpful? Or does anyone else have questions or anything in particular that they want to cover?
I think this is really, really good. So yeah, just
Okay, all right, we'll just keep going then. Please interrupt me at will if there's something in particular you want to talk about. All right, so finding the top 5 pages that bring organic traffic to your site. Now, I think I did ask, did anybody not have access to Google Analytics or not have access to someone who has access to Google Analytics in their organization? And I know, Justine, you may not have a website or a blog, but that'd be a great place for you to play and to roll around in analytics. Elaide, do you have access to Google Analytics and as a new publisher?
Yes, I do.
Okay, great, great. And Scott, oh, Scott's dropped, no worries. Okay, so Jeff, I'm gonna guess that your CMO does and that you can look over their shoulder or get in there yourself. Great. All right, so we want continuous free traffic. Organic traffic is important and free, and unlike paid, we don't have to continue to pay to have it work. It just keeps working for us. So top producers are worth circling back to, both to see what it was about them that made them top producers and to continue to tweak and refine them. So it's we can't expect something to just keep working for us when the market shifts. That's back to that white rabbit quote from Alice in Wonderland. So we need to go back and check in with it, that it is still performing, and see if somebody's doing a better job yet than us. And if they are, what is it? And let's go grab that and make it better and put it up on our own page so that it keeps pulling for us. And this would be a great report to run internally and have someone keep an eye on those top performers. And when they start to lag, go see why and handle it, because that is going to be small fry work with that produce good, big results. Does that make sense to everybody? Just like the low-hanging fruit, just like the key phrases or the pages that are ranking at the bottom of page 1 or the top of page 2, page 3, you know, those key phrases within striking distance that could be driving visibility for us. All right, so we go into our analytics tool for Google Analytics. That'd be acquisition and then channels. We click organic, then select landing page, use order descending by users or sessions. And we can also use a third-party resource like SEMrush, Ahrefs, and Moz. And we can do that for ourselves and for competitors, right? So yep.
Oh, I was just going to add that there's a really awesome tool that's only been around for a year called Big Metrics. That is really awesome because it takes your Google Search Console data and it does all kinds of things with them. It gives you low-hanging fruit. It gives you I'm just looking at it here. It gives you all kinds of different query reports like new queries, striking distance, question queries, pages
awesome.
that,
Perfect.
$25.
That's what we want to see. That's awesome. Big metrics. Great. Really great. Thanks for that, Rosemary. Okay. So let's see. We want to look then for the elements that are contributing to that excellent performance. So what is it about those pages? And this can help us create our Bible, if you will, or best practices. So several of you said that you were looking to better yourself in content or looking for best practices. You can actually establish your own best practices by seeing what's working for you and making sure that you're doing more of that. Okay, so it's easy to move on to the next thing, get too busy and overwhelmed and forget about what worked. Let's not do that because it's money work, right? Great. Look at the content structure, make sure things are scannable because we know people will read once you've shown them that they're at the right place. So we need headings and subheadings, ordered and unordered lists, standout sections like quotes and tweets, etc. If you even look at the screenshot the screen I'm sharing here, how easy and not, it might be a lot of content, but it's organized in a way that you can see, okay, here's our main point, why and how. And then we've got the lists and you can see the hierarchy. Make sense? Great. Make sure you're using images and videos, charts and diagrams, and interactive elements. And here's where we can see what our competitors are doing. When you aren't certain about what to do, really, we're not here to reinvent the wheel. Go see what's happening. Who are your competitors? You'll find Google's happy to tell you. Search on those key phrases, topics, and subtopics. And then you can see what is it that's ranking and how they've done it. We were recently working with a client in higher education, and their affiliate marketers are the competition. They're the ones who are really doing a bang up job. So when we looked at those affiliate marketers, their charts and the completeness of the tables, the information that they'd given was extraordinary. And our client, even though they were a big dog in the space, they weren't doing that. So it was a really fulfilling exercise because you could clearly see what was missing. Just make a list, prioritize, and assign those things and get them done. It's great. It feels good, right? We love that stuff that feels good. Okay, so when we're looking to find which articles are performing best on social media, we know that exposures in multiple channels warm up our leads faster, and warmer leads close better, right, Frank? Faster and easier, for sure. So even if it's not our top converting channel, we know that people need 5 to 10 touches before they're ready to give us their money. So it makes sense to do a good job and to be present and understand this. So when we have likes, comments, and shares, yeah, it works for everyone. So BuzzSumo is a great tool there that you can use to see what had the most engagement in Facebook, Twitter, Reddit. In your analytics tool, you can go see where you got clicks from social channels by going to Google Analytics, and then behaviors, site content, landing pages. You can add secondary dimension source in order to filter for the network that you're interested in, or whichever one converts best for you, whichever one makes the most sense for your client. And this can be a really nice exercise too. Okay, and I know Rosemary will jump in if she has anything else any other tools she loves. Okay, and then let's look quickly at finding your top 5 pages that attract backlinks and then converting pages, and then we'll see if we have any other questions or comments. So backlinks are important. They're one of the key elements of the algorithm. They're like credits or points, and Google uses backlinks to verify the authority of the website. The more backlinks you have, and even more importantly, the more high authority, the sources of the backlinks are actually more important than the volume. So the higher and more authority websites that are linking to us, the better rankings we'll have. And think of it almost like a bucket. The more key phrases we can carry. So it also generates traffic for the site. And an easy, reliable way to get backlinks is to have great content. So if you look at using tools like Ahrefs and Moz and SEMrush, what is the content that's getting great backlinks right now? You'll start to map out your plan. It'll show you this is the kind of content that people want, that they're referencing. And once you get something that's ranking at the top couple of spots in Google, when people are looking for resources for these, they usually pick the top first or second ranked site, and that's who they link to. So when there's a topic or a subtopic that people do link out to, and you can see what it is that's winning those links, then you know what to do. Go make more better than what's there of that stuff and get that top rank so that you're the one that gets cited instead of your competitors. Right? So you can use your Google Search Console tool, and that's in links to find out what the pages that are the most backlinked, and then those third-party tools to look at competitors. Any questions or comments so far? Okay, then let's look at your top 5 converting pages. These are important because they might have low traffic or even low volume, and you might not pay attention to a key phrase that is actually a heavy hitter just for low volume, thinking that you're doing the right thing. But we might have, there might be a handful of key phrases that don't have high volume, but convert for you like crazy. And conversions are money, right? So we want to pay attention to that. High traffic, high volume key phrases and pages are great, but if they're not converting, Yeah, they can help us earlier, high in the funnel, but still, this is money stuff. Start at the top, higher priority, take those things and handle them, and then we can work our way down into those. So check both types of pages and see what makes them special, better than competitors, or makes them high converters for you. Check elements like the sections that are unique for those pages. How are you doing your calls to action and the forms? And then if there are any tactics missing that you could add in, like a testimonials section for social proof or better optimized form, anything that could improve your conversion rate even further, and take the learnings of what works on those pages and apply them to your other top pages, or those that maybe get more traffic but aren't converting as well, or yeah, just aren't converting well, but you want to be doing that. So use your analytics tool. For Google Analytics, you go to acquisition and then channels, and then click organic, and then select landing page and order by conversions. Great. Do we have one more in us, guys? Are we good?
Yeah, I just also want to make a point, Leslie, that one of the biggest problems we see in analytics is that it isn't set up correctly. So it doesn't measure everything that you need to, and you don't want to be making business decisions when you're basing that on faulty data.
For sure, for sure. And just about everybody has screwed up analytics setups, that's for sure. Yeah, so look at what we have, but then also make sure that you're checking in with whomever in your organization is the best skilled, experienced person to be doing that. And if you need to go outside, it's important to make sure that your data is accurate, because this is such a valuable tool set. I mean, just imagine if you went through these, even just one of these once a month and just cycled through them, right? Be pretty great. Thanks, Rosemary. So finding the top 5 pages with the highest click-through rate. Click-through rates are, clicks or impressions. They're pages showing in the search results that get more clicks than average. It's important. And if you want to improve your click-through rate throughout your most important pages, you can mine what's working elsewhere. That's free traffic, and without even investing in new content. So getting more from what you have, and it raises all ships, potentially in all channels. So looking for those high click-through rates, see what makes them special, what attracted the user's clicks in the first place. Look at the meta description, the page title, calls to action. Were we using schema? Was there anything else that helped us to get good positioning in Google, good visibility? And you can do that by going into Google Analytics, acquisition, Google Search Console. Make sure you're connected. You've connected Google Search Console with Google Analytics, landing pages, and then sort by click-through rate. Okay. Yeah, I love this quote from Robert Rose. When taking a content-first approach, our job as marketers is not to create more content, it's to create the minimum amount of content with the maximum amount of results. That gives us a little, we can breathe in that space, can't we? Yeah, great. Okay, any other questions or comments? Anything anybody wants to talk about, given what we've shared so far? No? Well, I can keep firing more at you for the next 10 minutes if you'd like. Rosemary, what would you like me to do? Oh, and you're muted, Rosemary. Anybody who's playing Zoom bingo, there's that one.
So I think if there's no more questions, we'll give everybody one more minute, and then I think we can wrap up, Leslie. I think that was just an excellent session, and we'll make sure people get the recording and your notes as well, the ebook. So that sounds good.
Great. Well, thanks everybody for your time and attention. I appreciate
Thank you,
it.
Leslie. That was really great.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
everybody, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you very much.
Welcome.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
It's very helpful.
Yeah,
Glad.
that was very good, Leslie.
Sure. Well, thanks. You're welcome.
Before we all go, can I ask Leslie, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
Oh, sure. Let's see. Is my email or anything around for this? It's LESLIE. Let's see.
Okay,
I can put that in. I can put that in the chat to everyone. Everyone in the meeting. I'm just going to put my email here. And here's my cell.
Perfect.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for organizing this. It's my first event and it's very informative.
Dennis and Rosemary are your hookups. You'll want to follow
Yeah, I
them.
can tell. Yeah, that's some great stuff here.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
All right, I'm going to stop the recording.